All right, Reliance, coming to the guys. I don't know what you're expecting for tonight. To be Carreno Buster.
US Open, Danny Medvedev himself has been brilliant. Dominic Thiem, I try as much as I can to take not to the peak of expectations for Dominic Thiem. I can to pick out the man that has been tagged the Prince of Clay out of that particular bracket. As Danny Medvedev has also been around, trying to measure up, give the big guys a push. Dominic Thiem, the same thing. So it's just unfortunate that the way the draw was organized, I have draw before eventually they get to the final. So I see Dominic Thiem doing it over Danny Medvedev. And then in the other side of it, anytime you mention that name, Pablo, I remember the man who saw Andy Murray, out of the competition, talking about that man. So Alexander Zverev has shown a bit of grit and stamina thus far. So I expect
Cup or African Women's Cup of Nations. We hear 8 teams are going. Of Cameroon was also there. They just brought in those who they feel could stake a claim. And I wasn't really particularly impressed with their comments, because I know now, and so I'm not hearing, it's good, we are going forward and all that. They didn't say what they actually told us when we had asked them their take on starting the Women's Champions League.
I think at that point, they've always, at least I can make an excuse for Asisa Reshola. She has always been commending CAF for the launching or the initiation of the Women's Champions League. Area that she was a bit frustrated about and she wasn't okay with was it cancellation of the ALCON for this year
and the awards.
And then the awards. She has always been very vocal in terms of commending what CAF is doing in that aspect.
All right, let me come to you, Reliance. I'm trying to lay my hands exactly on the tidbits, but we hear it's going to be an 8-team tournament, and countries are going to arrange their qualifiers and what have you to present these 8 teams. Then the ALCON has been placed now for July 2022.
For the CAF Women's Champions League, the format adopted is the format being adopted, but going forward, instead of the host zone producing one additional team to complete it, it's going to be the reigning champions. Of course, the reigning champion will automatically have a slot
in the next
edition, and it's going to be held annually. So that's the format being adopted, and it in conference the post-CAF executive meeting presser yesterday, and heard a couple of comments from fellow journalists and all stuff. We don't want to criticize it at this moment. Wisdom. What we are expecting is, let's give it a trial. Let's give it a start. There are serious backwardness, so to speak, in terms of women's football in Africa. Women's club, I know of the NWPL's issues surrounding its lack of host nation, and also you can also talk about sponsorship and all that. So we can now look at it holistically. How far has CAF gone? There are basic things we need. For instance, funds to assist some of these clubs. CAF, according to the president, Ahmad said that the African football governing body will support each of them with $50,000, while the federations involved will also contribute $100,000, and then CAF as a whole will contribute another $200,000. Just to
is it
an Egypt-Morocco affair? Ahmad said there's gonna is it toss a die or something, or cast a ballot, and that was the word he used precisely. Cast a transparent ballot to pick which country eventually hosts it, and I think it's fair enough. I think it's fair enough, because if you ask me, both countries have the capacity to host any CAF tournament. Morocco, Egypt. You can ask South Africa. These are the countries that they can easily run our strategy they've put in place to support the conclusion of the CAF Champions League as well as that of the Confederation Cup. I think they'll also need to look at, because when you just give it a trial.
All right, Reliance says yes, let's give it a chance. Let's see how it pans out. I don't know what are your thoughts on that one. We'll be crossing over to Europe, but before that, 0817 0000 951 0810 951 951. We've talked about tennis. We've talked about the NBA. You're a basketball fan. What are you expecting tonight? Who is going to go through between the Boston Celtics and the Toronto Raptors? We've talked about tennis. How on earth did Serena Williams throw away this very nice chance and opportunity to win a 24th Grand Slam title? We've also talked about CAF and the Women's Champions League, the pattern they've set, and also their plans for the Champions League. Today, Sports Live, good afternoon to you.
Hello?
Good afternoon.
Yes, I bring greetings from all of my friends in the studio.
Obina, welcome to the show.
I mean, I must say that
before this match, it was an 18-4 in their 22 meetings.
I know, but I don't think I will be surprised because I don't know when he was winning Victoria Azarenka the 18-4. But I know before Victoria Azarenka left the team to go and put to bed, came back, had marital issue and something. She was up there. She's a two Grand Slam winner, if not more than. Please remind me. So I am not surprised, and I believe in me. If you've asked me, I would think I like Victoria Azarenka to play this Naomi Osaka because the emotions and everywhere each time Serena Williams is playing, I'm no longer comfortable with it. But she knows that she's about to face a real final, not those sentimental one she was playing against Serena Williams.
You don't need to like it, Obina. That's what's going to happen. Those are the finalists. So whether you like it or not, that's what's going to happen, It's going to be Naomi Osaka against Victoria Azarenka.
Listen, finish.
And Victoria Azarenka is going to put her in her place. You can take it to the bank. I know Victoria Azarenka.
All right.
Then, talking about the guy. Again, at least after Silic, has anybody won anything apart from the three mighty guys?
No. Since 2014, no, nobody.
So apart from that one that Silic won, it has been Nadal, Djokovic, and the brother.
Yes.
Said, wow.
Exactly.
I think my man boasted that Babu's Djokovic that took Djokovic to the cleaners, even though I thought they would have retrieved all his US title, all the US title trophy he has won from him because of what he did to that innocent man. They just gave him a slap in the wrist. I'm tipping him because of that single thing that he did. Believe you me, he has already won this one.
All right, Obina, thank you so much. I'm sure he meant the frustration that was handed to Djokovic. Today's Sports Live, good evening to you. Afternoon, rather.
Superman, honestly, I don't know really. Serena, in fact...
Lawson, let's introduce you so that people too that don't know you would know who is calling.
Yes, I don't know why my good friend Obina...
Your name is Lawson from Bayelsa.
Yes,
go ahead.
Bayelsa. He said why people are surprised. They are not made. They are not. If you even look at the statistics, they are not made. Really, I don't know why she keep having this problem, these issues. I wasn't expecting Victoria to. Yes, her form has been good of recently. Yeah, I can tell you her form, but I felt that somehow Serena was going to defeat her and they play the finals. But well, I don't know. It is what it is. It's over. She has to look. I think the next is France.
Okay.
Yeah,
the next is France.
So, France, yeah. So maybe that one. I don't know. But time will come when she can no longer do this. She has to be careful and quickly get to that record. I don't know. This CAF Champions League for women. It's a terrible waste of time, waste of resources, waste of everything. It's not because Europe is doing that we have to copy. If you see, if you don't have the capacity to do a particular thing, there is no need for you to do it. We have not been able to get the male own right properly, and then you are going into that of female again. So achieve what? Really? I don't understand. So it's just like the Nigeria now clearing the way for sports, and then the club side wanting to without any test, without anything on ground. It doesn't make any sense. So for me, I'll keep deciding it because I don't know, maybe one of you will be able to make me see this. I do not see the need for this female CAF Champions League.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, Lawson, thank you so much for your thoughts. Reliance, we have some messages coming through.
Quite a lot of them wisdom. Oscar KJ says, I said it, don't write Azarenka off. We need to start believing that Serena would never get 24 or even surpass it. She has wasted her 4 previous finals. And then this one, Ruth from Akbajo says, good afternoon, guys. I'm really enjoying the analysis. At least I'm not missing the one I left in Lagos. Kudos, guys. And then this one says, my name is... okay, I'll take that one later. This one says, Serena Williams should just retire. Sometimes it's not always possible to have everything we crave for. She's already a legend. Let her rest and enjoy her fortune. Thanks, Dominic Atata. And this one says, I really wanted Serena Williams versus Naomi Osaka final. Serena been the winner for me, but that didn't happen, and I'm a little bit disappointed. You didn't add your name. Your number ends with 0234. And then we also have this particular one that says, good afternoon, today's Sports Life. Serena Williams, get back up and dust yourself. It's never over with you. That record, you shall definitely make it. He added an emoji there. Nkebari texting him from Obuna Bari. And then this one says, hi guys, sorry to my Serena. I told her to retire. She refused. I'm not happy with what is happening to her. Experiences their body can not longer carry. Theme I've won already. Justice from Lagos. And then this one says, hi, good afternoon everyone in the studio. What is happening to Williams? Although she's aging, but she could have tried to get this one. Checking the stage she started, she could have tried to get this one. Williams, how has the mighty fallen? Kingsley Williams from Omoma. Switching over to the WhatsApp portal, Wisdom, to get some messages concerning tennis. Okay, I think we'll get back to the WhatsApp portal much later.
One more call and we are moving. Today's Sports Live. Good afternoon.
Superman, I greet you.
Eto, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Relax.
Greetings to you, Eto.
Upon the fasting and prayer, I've been fasting for my lady. So it's not a laughing issue. I've been praying for her. Just the only issue for her to do now is for her, if I thought the woman is dead, for her to buy drink to go and appeal her, make her happy, so that she can surpass the record. That for her to be falling over and over, breaking our heart. So to go and appeal the woman cup, the dead, if I thought she's dead.
Okay.
So that she can surpass the record. Thank you. I'm supporting you.
Okay. All right, that's where we would maybe draw the cuttings on those other stories. You can still send in your thoughts on our message portal. From there, let's of course move over to where it's going to be happening. The Spanish Primera Liga and the English Premier League. All right, a quick look at the fixtures to expect this weekend. Fulham will be up against Arsenal. It's the first kickoff tomorrow. 12:30 is the time. And expect to see our own Ola Aino's deal. Still here is yet to be confirmed. Yeah. So Ola Aino will not be part of that game. But expect to see Alfonso Areola, former or maybe on loan PSG goalkeeper. And expect to see Gabriel Magalhaes and Willian starring for Arsenal. Bukayo Saka should be there too. Crystal Palace will take on Southampton. Liverpool will be up against Leeds United. 5:30 p.m. is the time. And West Ham United will take on Newcastle. All right, on Sunday, we'll see West Bromwich Albion come up against Leicester City. And Tottenham Hotspur will be up against Everton. That one comes up by 4:30. While Monday night football, we'll see Chelsea take on Brighton. And ahead of that particular one, and of course Chelsea season in general, Frank Lampard says intense pressure is part of the coaching job as the club inches closer to securing the services of another goalkeeper, with rumors pointing to Lyon's Edouard Mendy. Chelsea went through the past 2 transfer windows without signing players as a result of the transfer ban handed to the London side. However, with the ban lifted, the Abramovich-owned side have gone on to secure the services of high-profile players: Kai Havertz, Hakim Ziyech, Thiago Silva, Timo Werner, amongst others, a development which should make the coach come under intense pressure. But he has this to say concerning pressure.
Under no pressure last year. I think if you follow us around as closely as you do, and you follow the Chelsea job and the Chelsea manager, I don't think you can ever go through a season of no pressure, because I thrive off those pressures and I enjoy them, and I understand the different nature of the pressure coming this year. It's what I love doing. I didn't come into this job to fight for 4th place. although last year we know that was an achievement and one of our goals that we set out and we got to. I didn't come here just to bring academy players into the team and say I've made debuts for this many players. No, I came here to try and win.
Relax, I didn't come here to give debuts to academy players and say I gave 10 players, I didn't come here to achieve the 4th position. No, I came here to win titles. What do you make of Frank Lampard's statement? Nice statement, both on the transfer market and of course in that press conference. Are you expecting fireworks when Chelsea finally kicks off their English Premier League campaign?
Well, before I go on to that, let me just add it that Stan Wawrinka has won, apart from maybe Marin Cilic and the other guys, Stan Wawrinka has won 3 Grand Slams. Talking about Obina's comment.
That was Victoria Azarenka, who is a 2-time Grand Slam champion.
He talked about apart from Marin Cilic.
No, he asked apart from Marin Cilic, has anybody won any other title between when Marin Cilic tasted the Grand Slam last?
Okay.
Of course the current.
All right, so about the English Premier League and Frank Lampard. Well, I think these managers should just understand that at times these rules have a way of returning to haunt them. The pressure is going to be there, even though I feel Chelsea is working on a future project at the moment. And that is one thing I commend Maria Grabnowska for. You look at the ages of the players they've signed. They're looking toward the future. They want to build, should I say, an empire, so to speak, with Frank Lampard. And that might reduce the level of the pressure that has been on other managers. Some managers, each time Chelsea decides to spend the money and sign players. But that being said, there's always that pressure there. Whether we like it or not, Frank Lampard will be under some sort of pressure. And I'm glad that he understands it, because you can't spend this amount of money. They've spent, it's not over 200 million pounds in the transfer market.
Bro. It's over.
And they're also looking at the addition of Edward Mendy, to come in and give Arisa Balaga a push in the goalkeeping department. That would take the money to over 200 million pounds. And you can't spend that kind of amount of money. And again, let's even forget about the money. Let's say you spent this money and probably did not sign players that catches the eye of people. But this one, you've signed players that have caught the eyes of football world. Who I beg your pardon now, who wouldn't appreciate what Kai Havertz did for his previous German team, Bayer Leverkusen? Who wouldn't appreciate what Timo Werner did for RB Leipzig? Who wouldn't appreciate Hakim Ziyech's contribution to his former club Ajax? Is it Ben Chilwell for Leicester City, or is it Thiago Silva that led the back line for PSG? Somewhat a defender that has been called the leader, the missing piece in that Chelsea defense, and now you're looking forward to bringing a goalkeeper. So you've spent the money, and I think you've spent the money wisely in bringing in players that suit the quality of players that suit the amount of money you've spent. So we expect that the bulk of the pressure is now on the coach. How do you harness this talent you have at your disposal and deliver the result? And what will be the result that will seem satisfiable to football world and the fans of Chelsea? Deliver at least a trophy in your second
with
season.
This kind of player, supposed to win everything.
Supposed to win the World Cup. It's also win the NBA. All right, so from a realistic point of view, so even if I want to understand that Chelsea is planning for the future, they want to have a future with you as a manager, but at least justify what has been spent, to that level of achievement in his 4th season in charge of the club Chelsea. But right now the expectation is high. There's a level that he will falter, and the management of the Chelsea will be forced to sack him, to let him go, because you're not showing prospect that you can lead this team, that you can lead this talent to that place that they want to be in the next 2-3 seasons. And there's a level of achievement that you're going to achieve, and it's going to be quite understandable. So good a thing, he understands that there's this pressure with him.
Jose Mourinho is expected to. They've signed from Southampton for 15 million to B class too.
Everything with Carlo Ancelotti.
Of the journey, the consensus was that Manchester United were back on the right track. All right, who are the new faces? Donny van de Beek was signed from Ajax to add more depth to an ever-improving midfield, with £40 million acquisition seemingly paving the way for fringe players such as Hasey Lingard and Andres Pereira to depart. A long-running pursuit of Borussia Dortmund and England star Jadon Sancho for the number 1 jersey. So a quick look at the Spanish La Liga. Top three for an 8th consecutive season in 2019-2020. The big plays Barca. The other has shuffled into various configurations since, but sensationally when Athletic pipped the Blaugrana to finish top of the pile in 2013-2014. Madrid and Barca have cashed in on the Super Club era aided by arguably the two finest footballers of all time, while Atletico gradually gained the weight they once punched above to become their maybe one or two thoughts from Reliance. Well, Deportivo will take on Real Betis. Real Valladolid will be up against Real Sociedad. And the two big boys, Barca and Real Madrid, is not a regular player for HD's Huesca. I'll be shocked if he starts that game. Valencia will be up against Levante in the final game of the weekend. All right, there will be games too in the front. We'll be taking on Lyon later today, but Montpellier will take on Nice tomorrow. Lyon will take on Lens. Nîmes will be up against Rennes. Monaco will take on Nantes. PSG will be up against Marseille. Well, Reliance, we're going to go straight to the point. Tomorrow we'll have enough time to actually delve into the biggest of issues. Who would finish top 4 for you? The Premier League, the Spanish La Liga, and leave the French League. But let's start with the English Premier League.
Honestly, I think we've not been a little bit fair to the French league.
I know there's nothing to report there. It's all about, you already know Lyon might not make the top 4 at the end of the day. But after the number one person, every other team just tries their best.
Just as you said, straight to the point, Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, and
that's the place.
That's the place. That's actually the place. But I'll give it to Manchester United.
Ahead of Tottenham and Leicester City and Wolves.
How did I live out Leicester? Well, honestly, I just have to make choices, right?
You have to make choices.
Just have to make choices. So the two Manchester teams, and then Liverpool plus Chelsea will make the top 4 for me.
Spain.
And then in the Spanish La Liga, I'm looking at Real Madrid, Atletico, Barcelona, and then Sevilla.
That's the place.
That's always the place, Sevilla.
All right.
That's always the place.
All right.
You know.
We'll have time for the Serie A next. It will be Cup starting September 20th. That's next weekend. So we're not talking about the Serie A today. But Reliance, you've given me your tip.
I'm not that man that predicted for a match scoreline.
But give us a prediction. Liverpool was not a hard pick last season. Man City was not a hard pick this season before. Leicester season was only the hard pick this season they won. So give us a prediction.
Chelsea
to win the Premier League, according to Reliance. 0 Premier League. Today's Sports Live. Good afternoon to you. All right, let's hear you quickly. Go on. Who wins the Premier League?
I can tell you that Manchester United.
To you.
Superman, Manchester United will just simply continue from where they stopped. That's what will happen.
That's finishing third, right? I'm playing in the Europa League.
No, they'll just, you don't understand. That team is developing, so I feel that they'll continue from
where they stopped.
That they will win the best. But Chelsea, I don't know. I want to watch Chelsea. That's the team I want to watch right now.
Leave Chelsea. All of us too are waiting for that Chelsea. Today's Sports Live. Good afternoon to you.
Yes, my brother Obina, I must tell you, how they even do this draw, EPL draw? I don't understand, my brother. Last season, Liverpool started their campaign against a newly promoted side, Norwich.
Yeah.
And if I heard you correctly, you just said that a league for them again, a newly promoted. How did they used to do this kind of thing? Is it a mistake or a coincidence?
Lawson.
Liverpool is not the only team that started off with a newly promoted
thank you so much for your thoughts. But I can tell you that some people prefer to face Leeds United than probably or some people prefer to face Burnley than Manchester United. Man United were supposed to take on Burnley, but that game has been postponed. But some people prefer Burnley than taking on Leeds United. Have you heard of Marcelo Bielsa?
He's okay.
We'll need to see him maybe before you get to find out who he really is. Today's Sports Live, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon.
I meet everybody in the studio.
We greet you. Quickly, just 30 seconds.
I want to know whether Man City signed.
Man City?
Yes.
If they signed anybody?
Yes.
Okay, nothing out of the ordinary. Ferran Torres joined the team. Nathan Ake joined the team. There's a youngster they are looking for. If time permits me, I'll go to the transfer tidbits. I think it's from Belgium. Today's Sports Live, good afternoon to you.
Hello, good evening.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's Chris. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Quickly, Chris. Who wins the Premier League?
Of course, Arsenal.
Arsenal win the Premier League. Yeah. Oh, that's so good. All right.
Because, hello.
We can hear you because of.
In your analysis, people failed to mention the exploits of Arsenal towards the end of the season.
No, we didn't analyze. No, we did not analyze success of people. We only analyzed players that came in.
Yeah. What Arsenal did to Man City, did to Liverpool.
It was painful.
Did to Chelsea.
Yes.
And also did to Liverpool again.
Yes, they did well.
It's okay.
Yes.
It's
You're
okay.
doing well. For them to win the league this season.
For the world to look out for Arsenal.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, sorry. I'm sure you had something to say, but relax. I think that is really true. Arsenal have actually showed us that with what they have, they can take on anybody.
Yeah.
Today's Sports Live, good afternoon to you.
Please, I call back. I want to confirm whether Man City has signed any new player.
I just read out the names behind now. Ferran Torres and Nathan Ake. They've not brought in any other person. If they do, we'll let you know. Or the others are just rumors. Today's Sports Live, good afternoon to you. All right, we lost our reliance.
On
Lots
Twitter,
of messages coming in.
for Augustine with the handle at @Jufo_he says, since Serena put to birth, she hasn't been the same again. A lesson to the women. A child takes something from you. Well, that's not necessarily true. Kim Clijsters came back from pregnancy, won, I think, 3 Grand Slams or thereabouts. So let's get to the SMS portal and take some messages. Vincent from Port Harcourt says, my top 4, Man U, Chelsea, Man City, and West Brom. And then Chimaobi says, I hope that this season a team will not have another 14 penalties and the season of lamentation have resumed for some certain caller. This time to cry have come for some persons. I hope Ampit's rule is also out. YNWA. And then this one says, good day guys, considering squad depth, City might win it, but I wanted Manchester United to come second. Lorenzo delayed from a chair. This person says that Bobby from Rockwood says that one game, football without violence. I'm happy EPL is back, but not too sure if my darling United is good to go. Transfer, please. That's Bobby from Rockwood. This one says, I pity Lampard. This man might be fired in December. I trust my Chelsea brethren. They won't waste time to call for his head when they flop. Aika Israel from Port Harcourt.
All right, let's hold it there, Reliance. Today's Sports Live, good afternoon. Okay, we lost that one. Today's Sports Live, good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, brother, man.
No photocopy. Welcome to the show.
Bless you, man. I'm not coming here to keep getting me player a debut, but I'm coming here to win. I will save that story somewhere. After fishing, after when we come back from fishing, we will know the difference between scorpion and crocodile.
Yeah, not the only one saving the story, my brother.
All right, no photocopy. Thank you so much. Today's Sports Live, good afternoon to you. Hello.
I'm Gideon from Ahoda.
Gideon, let's hear you quickly. Go ahead. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, Wilson.
Your name and where you're calling us from? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Quickly. Who wins the Premier League?
Okay. No, it's Madrid. And let me say this. Why?
You say, why would they do what? Yes.
Okay, what about PSG that playing the Champions League final? They don't play tomorrow.
The French League did not start yesterday. It has started since. PSG are just playing their first game yesterday, but the French League has started since over 2 or 3 weeks now.
Okay, so Madrid.
All right, today's Sports Live, good afternoon to you. Let's hear you. Manchester United win the Premier League. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. One more call and we'll go to the text message portal. Today's Sports Live. Today's Sports Live.
Yeah, Wisdom, what's up?
Albert, welcome to the show. Quickly, let's hear you. Who wins the Premier League?
To be honest, I wouldn't just give you someone that will win the league, you understand? I think United will do very well, you understand? United, Liverpool, and Man City.
Okay.
Because when I said before they're making progress, I was the first person that United is making progress.
Albert, just call us tomorrow for analysis. We don't have much of the time. But you think United, Liverpool, and... Is it Man City?
Man City.
Okay. Thank you so much, Albert. Reliance, the message.
Justice from Lagos says, I agree to you guys. It's official now that our burial will hold on Monday when Brighton take on Chelsea. Chelsea is death. And this one says, Nkebari texting in again says, my manager has said it all. We are not here to promote Academy of 4th place trophy. I pray for her to come back in form. Geoffrey from Alesa Eleme. And this one says, I take Chelsea to be the winner of this season EPL, but if United can be able to buy a winger and a defender, then they will challenge for the title. Adolphus from from Port Harcourt. And then this one says, good everyone in the studio. I'm a United fan, but the word of Frank Lampard is a powerful word. I'm seeking Chelsea to win the league. Manchester United, they are not serious. Kingsley Williams.
All right, I'm so sorry if we could not take all your text messages or even your calls. We'll be back at exactly 1 p.m. tomorrow for another exciting edition of Today's Sports Live. You will have all the time. You have my apologies. If I cut you off, it was not intentional. You have all the time to explain and, of course, give us your thoughts. My name is Wisdom Obina, the classical gentleman. Reliable Reliance did justice when it comes to the analysis side of things. As I told you, the show makes a return, same time, same station tomorrow. Are you as excited as I am for the return of the Premier League?
When the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Today, 95.1 FM. Port Harcourt. News update.
Good evening. Here's the news updates at 4. Today, 95.1 FM. I am Kalada Kurubatubo. The Kaduna State House of Assembly has approved castration as punishment for anybody convicted for rape in the state. This followed the amendment of the State Penal Code No. 5 Law of 2017, which stipulates stiffer penalties for rapists in the state as part of the effort to protect women and children against any form of gender violence. The spokesman of the House, Musa Ahmed, stressed that anyone convicted of rape will have his organs surgically removed before being sent to jail. Ahmed said in addition to the castration of the convicted rapist, the new law entails 21 years imprisonment for the rape of an adult and life imprisonment for the rape of a minor. The Benue House of Assembly has passed the Benue State Highly Infectious Diseases Emergency Prevention and Management Bill 2020. This followed a clause-by-clause consideration of the bill in the Committee of the Whole, chaired by the Deputy Speaker Christopher Adaji during plenary. The Chairman House Committee on Health and Human Services, Joseph Akponya, who led the debate on the bill, explained that the ability to identify and respond to outbreaks promptly and thereby limiting their impact rests on the availability and implementation of appropriate laws. Okonya said the import of the bill was to prevent and contain the spread of highly infectious disease such as coronavirus, which constitutes a serious and imminent threat to the public health of the people of Benue State. The chairman of Federal Government Special Selection Works Program in Rivers State, Innocent Barikor, has disclosed that 3 subcommittees have been set up to ensure transparency in the screening of candidates for the program. Barikor, who was giving an update on the stage of activities on the 774,000 federal government program, said in few days the subcommittee must have concluded the screening to enable them shortlist successful candidates. The Special Selection Works Program boss in the state, in an interview with our correspondent Uchendu Jawar, commended the cooperation and commitment of Rivers people, assuring that transparency is the watchword of the committee members to ensuring the right process is followed. Barikor, while disclosing that over 3 PhD holders applied for the job, said the process has revealed that the level of unemployment is high.
At the moment, we have set up 3 subcommittees of the Special Works Committee, which are looking at the various senatorial districts and doing their screening. By next week, they would have concluded and they would have made their recommendations in respect of those who should be shortlisted for this program. Now, we will soon conclude all these records and we'll be able to get the total number of people that applied for this program. But this is just to tell us that this is the work we've been doing in the past few days. So this is what we have been doing, and that process of selection, the process of screening is now on. And we want to assure Rivers people that transparency is the watchword as these committees go to work to do their screening.
A Rivers State Commissioner of Police, Joseph Mokan, has dismissed reports that one Philip Brown was tortured to death while in detention at Eagle Crack unit of the state. CP Mukan, who was reacting to claims by uncle to the late Brown and other residents of Suku Okwele Waterfront Mile 2 Diobe area, claimed The late Brown, who he alleged was a cultist, was at the verge of dying when he was handed over to the police. The Commissioner of Police, during a meeting with head of media organization and some other stakeholders in the state, said one AK-47 was recovered from the said Philip Brown and his gang at the waterfront who tried to mob members of Joe Vigilante before the intervention of men of Crack.
That's a misconception of the actual fact. The suspect that died was involved in criminal activities by the waterside. The vigilante got information and informed the police. They sent their men under cover. They were able to grab one of the cultists that were making life unbearable for people at the waterside. There was a mob action. He was beaten to a stupor. Some of the vigilantes were injured. But at the end of the day, there was a reinforcement and took him to the Crack station. Unfortunately, when he got there, he was exhausted through the mob action and he gave up the ghost.
Earlier, spokesman of the Vigilante, Prince Amatari, explained what led to the incident that resulted to a recovery of firearm, mob of vigilante members, and the late Brown.
There was a very heavy shootout between the Lamedian court and the Foundation court under Deba. And this heavy shootout made residents of Job to be running helter-skelter. They still went to the streets and was destroying people's windscreen front and back. Breaking Monday, we now got an intelligence report that they are still servicing an AK-47 about going for another mission. So we quickly drove down to Ikra command and he gave us men. I have to send my men, disguised themselves like carpenters, went with a saw and an hammer to show the people they want to buy wood. And I gave a standing order to my men. When you get there, grab him with the AK-47. Don't give him space to shoot. Call me immediately. I and the police were stationed at the Tiger in Mile 2 Joe Port Harcourt. As soon as they called that they have apprehended them with the AK-47, and we quickly drove down. That was how we were able to recover the AK-47 and schoolboy. The person we hand over that we rescued from where they wanted to mob us and mob him was
Mike Pepple and Senebo had claimed that Philip Brown was tortured to death by members of the Joe Vigilante and men of Crack before he and a few other youth refused to hand over the recovered AK-47 after insisting that it should be handed over to the police. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Gabashew, has described the move by President Muhammadu Buhari to suspend the giving of foreign exchange for food and fertilizer imports as an action born out of patriotism. The presidential spokesman who appeared on a television program monitored from Port Harcourt said the president's motive stems purely from devotion in the best interest of the country. The president had yesterday directed the Central Bank of Nigeria not to give foreign exchange for food and fertilizer imports. On the foreign scene, the Senegalese army has said 100 of the soldiers from the peacekeeping mission in the Gambia have tested positive for coronavirus. The military contingent, composed of 600 soldiers, was returning home. While more tests are being carried out, those who tested positive have been quarantined in Tuabakuta on Senegalese territory. Gambian President Yahya Jammeh to hand over power to his elected successor Adama Barrow and to assist the new Gambian administration to address security challenges. The mission's mandate was extended during the last ECOWAS meeting at the request of President Barrow. And that was the news update at 4 on Today95.1 FM. Do not forget, please take responsibility. Wash your hands frequently with soap on the running water. Always have with you at all times alcohol-based and sanitizers. Avoid touching your face and eye contact surfaces to prevent the spread of coronavirus. If you can, work from home. Otherwise, observe social distancing when you are out there, and always wear your facial mask when in a gathering of two or more people, because COVID-19 is real, but then it is not a death sentence. Stay tuned, stay safe. Have yourself a good evening. I am Kala Dakwa.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
You can never plan the future by the past. He who has a why to live can bear almost any out. Lost time is never found again. It is the province of knowledge to speak, and it is the privilege of wisdom to listen. I don't take life too seriously. You'll never get out of it alive. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. In the end. It is not this, it is the life in your ears. Make it count with us. Make it count at Today 95.1 FM. 95.1 FM. iPrep in action on Today FM.
This program is designed to educate the people and give detailed progress reports on the Ogoni cleanup project.
The show will also feature high-profile interviews and discussions with relevant stakeholders on the cleanup exercise. We shall be presented with weekly updates and discussions on burning issues on the cleanup exercise.
Tune in every Friday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. to get all the information about the Ogoni cleanup project. HyPrep, remediating the environment and restoring livelihoods.
HyPrep in action.
A very warm welcome to another edition of HyPrep in action on Today FM. This program is brought to you courtesy the Hydrocarbon Pollution and Remediation Project, HyPrep. I am Uwikiwari Priye Izogo. I'll be your weekly guide to bring you the latest updates and details in the Ogoni cleanup exercise.
You're listening to HyPrep in action on Today FM.
For a better understanding of the cleanup project in Ogoni land, which stands as our flagship program in the Niger Delta region, I need to tell you the core objective of HyPrep under the Federal Ministry of Environment, led by Dr. Marvin Barinem-Kiel. First is to determine the scope, means and modalities of remediation of soil and groundwater contamination in all impacted communities. Secondly, is to enhance local capacity for better environmental management as well as ensure livelihood and sustainable development. Thirdly, ensuring security and promote peace-building efforts in impacted communities. And finally, strengthen governance, transparency, and accountability in the region. This is HyPrep in action. In this week's edition, the project coordinator of HyPrep, Dr. Marvin Barinem-Kiel, delivered a presentation on the journey of remediation and cleanup of Ogoni land to the Joint National Assembly House Committee on Ecology and Climate Change. And also, the HyPrep team took the National Assembly members and a civil society group, the Environmental Rights Action, Friends of the Earth Nigeria, to sites in Ogoni land. So I will ask you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the show. I'll be back in a bit. Stay tuned.
iPrep in action on Today FM.
This program is designed to educate the people and give detailed progress reports on the Ogoni cleanup project.
The show will also feature high-profile interviews and discussions with relevant stakeholders on the cleanup exercise. We shall be presented with weekly updates and discussions on burning issues on the cleanup exercise.
Tune in every Friday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. to get all the information about the Ogoni cleanup project. HyPrep, remediating the environment and restoring livelihoods.
This is HyPrep in action.
Yeah, now what it is, any remediation that you see falls on 4 basic pillars: a physical method, a chemical method, a biological method, and a thermal method. Any remediation you see. Of late is the oxidation, one of the sites we are actually experimenting. But what is best or most suitable for us? Very recently, the last year actually, the Governing Council went on a tour of remediation sites in the UK. Sites that have been operating 20 years, some of them 25 years. They have been we went to those sites and we tried to see how they were doing it compared to what we are doing. In the UK, you find what they call brownfields. These are land that have been used for different purposes over the last 100 years. And so that will also determine the method you want to use. If it comes from the remediation, why biological? One, it's natural, it's environmental friendly. So what are we doing here? What kind of land do we have? The land we have in Nigeria are mainly natural land. In fact, petroleum pollution is the first time those lands have been ever polluted, and which makes it a very natural kind of site for biological operations, and that is why we're using biological methods mainly. Most of our sites is simple land farming.
You're listening to High Prep in Action on Today FM.
That was the voice of the project coordinator, Dr. Marvin Barinem Dekil, as he presented to the National Assembly on the achievement of High Prep since the inception of the cleanup exercise. Dr. Dekil also debunked allegations that High Prep has refused to pay contractors handling Ogoni cleanup projects. The project coordinator made it clear that contractors who were not paid are those who could not show evidence of completion of work at sites.
Naturally, the process of remediation is slow. So if you want to get it right, you must have all the patience to allow for the slow recovery of the processes by these measures that you have explained. So you hear people say the project is slow, the project is slow. The process of getting it right is slow, and we are following it methodologically. The next thing is that we need to talk about the challenges. He explained some of the challenges. The main challenge of this project is that of perception. What do people think this project is? Is it a project for us to share money? Is it a project for us to build roads and build schools and all of that? No, it is not. The project is a remediation project. What gave the attention of the world? What got the attention of the federal government? What brought about this was the environmental cries of the Ogoni people that has led to the establishment of High Prep that goes beyond Ogoni in terms of our mandate. So this is a project for remediation, and we pray that there will be opportunities for the development components which are missing here in subsequent activities. I want to thank the team from the National Assembly for giving us the opportunity to understand, to explain to you what it is we are doing. Thank you, sir. You know, I said that the finances are which is still the Board of Trustees. So that is actually something that within the Board of Trustees that by is to do that. So if with prior knowledge, advise how to constitute this engagement so that you are able to get a complete view of how the project operates. Things to do with our finances are handled by the BOT, and there is a chairman and also a board, just like the governing council, that has the Minister of Finance, that has SPDC, that has AGIC, that has Total, that has civil society, that has community, that has the Minister of State for Petroleum, that has the group and NNPC. All in that board, only the funds with the Gazette clearly separates.
On his part, the head of Operation High Prep, Professor in-depth analysis of lots and sites in the project as part of his presentation to the National Assembly members.
So this is a detailed spreadsheet, the status of work from mobilization period to the construction of an engineering council that is essential to ensure that secondary pollution is at check, and to the first stage of reef excavation and remediating the impacted soil, the engineering council, we call it bore remediation process. And all these have scopes, and if you have seen cost of 100%, so if you check carefully, you will see we have different scores and at various levels from the first to the 21st lots. This continuation of the lots. Now you have 21 lots that have been carefully assessed and evaluated. So this is the summary of the 6 lots that currently are undergoing certification, inspection and sampling by NOSTRA. We have Obolo, we have LMA, and the volume of soil there was 52,000 cubic of soil that was earmarked for remediation, and the start point of contamination was about 1,000 milligrams per kilogram of total petroleum hydrocarbon content in the soil, and the cost, the value of the contract was about 472 million naira. The second is Alode in Kerekium in LMA. The contractor there is AtPro. The first one is Basic, and the volume of soil there was 46,200, and the takeoff of the initial TPH was 6,500. The value of contracts about 401 million naira. And the other sites, Lot 8 which is the biggest site. Alode is 1.8, and the contractor is Jolie Global. We had a volume of 83,500 cubic to handle, starting point of 11,500, and value of the contract is about 770 million gross. And the contractor is Arena. Volume was small, 5,500. That's the smallest volume actually. He has a start point of 52,000. Was quite impacted, and the volume of the contract was 189 million naira. We have Paraco Hotel, T3 Nigeria Limited, 17,000 cubic meters, and then TPH that was 12,300, and we had a value of contract of 259 million. We have Korokoro, Badene, Wenai, and Thai. Also, the contractor is Yozeli Tureti. We had a volume of 8,100. TPH start point was 4,860. Volume contract was about 124 million. So these are pictures of what's going on right now. You can see pictures of NOSRA staff, HAPREP staff, and United Nations representative at site taking samples. And this is the map showing the area that was impacted, and the sampling points are indicated in those. The green points indicate the sampling points. This is at the bottom side, and you can see the impact along the right of way. You can see the staff taking notes and drilling the soil to take samples using the hand augers. This site is an LMS site, lot 8, and you can also see the samples with the coolers and all the sampling containers that are repaired to ensure that samples are taken in the right protocol. This is lot 2. They are going there next week, not yet there. This is lot 5. Also, hopefully next week they'll be there. This is a summary of what we have gone through, and we have some challenges. We have some flooding, some sites, we have discussion by communities at some few sites, and we have some communal disputes, and some activities on sites that have led to some delays in the work that we have been doing. These are some of the pictures that currently you will see at site. So basically, what are we recommending that will help us to resolve and solve some of the problems? Contractors are encouraged to take advantage of this dry season. This year, because of climate change, I would suppose, is the driest year we've experienced in River State for the past 20 years. It's been here for the past 20 years, and I can say we have not had this kind of dryness in this period of rainy season. So had this year. So it's like a special privilege for our contractors to take advantage of this dry season. Almost a full August break with very slight amount of rainfall. That's what I've got opportunity for them. And then there's need to increase awareness, enlightenment of communities of the benefit of cleanup, so that they don't just agitate for money, but also see how they can support contractors. And most importantly, how they can ensure that after the cleanup, that the land remains clean. Because we observe some issues of root pollution from additional defining activities and food theft. So that's a big one. So awareness campaign is important to make sure that they are partners in this great venture. With the concrete resolution, the crack that helps us to interact with them is also to help resolve these issues. The sand mining activities has already been handled by some members of crack, and I'm hoping that we shall get some results. So pictures of some sites, as you can see, the work is going on, and as I said, the work involves excavation of impacted sites from the impacted area, moving it into an engineered parcel that is built to ensure that secondary pollution is prevented. So it's basically the key thing, what we call a leachate sump. The leachate sump helps to collect leachates or effluents that have been released from the soil during the remediation process. And then when it gets in there, it is recirculated, it is recycled into the parcel to ensure that there's a closed circuit of managing the contamination without allowing anything to go out. But we have to add nutrients. The nutrients are basically amendment constituents. So what they do is to increase the nutrient requirement by microbes that are essential in breaking down the carbon compound. So nutrients are added, but then nutrients have been approved by NOSRA. ensure that they meet the requirement of publicity that we need to ensure that we're not polluting or bringing any pollutants to Nigeria or to the land. So after that, it's taking the teaming process helps to arrest them, and in some areas we have some artificial aeration from some booster systems where we have systems, and that helps to accelerate and speed up the bore remediation process. This other one shows the drilling of the one on the top left is a drilling exercise that's going on to ensure that we are installing a monitoring borehole on the sites. That helps us to monitor the progress of the contamination that is being taken out in the process of remediation. These are all pictures of where we are at various stages of remediation.
These in place the processes. So yes, it is true that we were just coming out of our pre-planning stages to the execution stage. There is an active monitoring and evaluation unit in the pipeline, headed by Dr. Samson Edimon. He's seated here, and I'll give you the opportunity to answer your question. He will explain what he's been doing and what is yet to be done. The fact is that, like I said, it's a project that is continually expanding. So the scope as of this year and the scope as of next year will continue to change. And that means that people who are working with us, UNEP, I also have to give you the terms of engagement of UNEP. UNEP is not engaged technically as an auditor for the project. He engaged to provide that service, help us fix those problems.
The Joint National Assembly Committee on Ecology and Climate Change, on their part, said it will ensure that Ogoni cleanup remains transparent.
And there's a lot of watch and observers on this program. So what you do has a lot to do with transparency. So if you're able to sit at tenders board meeting and decide an appropriate to check on also project integrity ratio, I think you have been working, but that is one important thing to do.
Let's go for a short break. When we return, the project coordinator of HiPrep and his team took members of the National Assembly Committee on Ecology and Climate Change and the Environmental Right Action, Friends of Nigeria, as they perform their oversight functions. You don't want to miss. Stay tuned. This is HiPrep in action. Welcome back. It's still HiPrep in action on Today FM. I am Uwikiwari Priye Ezogo. As the project coordinator of HiPrep, Dr. Marvin Barinem Dekil took the National Assembly members to lots in Eleme local government area. He said that HiPrep have carried out internal verification on its project before submitting itself to external regulators, adding that in cases where outcome of the testing is not satisfactory, the contractors are sent back to the site. Dekil also said 7 lots of the 21 lots allocated to contractors in the first batch of the cleanup process of Ogoni have been completed.
From the Senate as well as the House of Representatives on ecology and climate change have been with us since yesterday on their oversight function since we started to work in the field in January 2019. It's important to note that President Muhammadu Buhari commenced the remediation of impacted environment in Ogoni land as soon as he came into power. So by April of 2017, we commenced work. As we speak, 21 lots earlier awarded. Out of that, 7 lots are now ready. So we took the committee members to the site so they could see the site where we've completed work, so they could see the site where work is ongoing, and we also briefed them on the additional 36 lots that were awarded and whose contractors are mobilizing. We explained to them the challenges of the project, including delays that caused by community issues, by weather-related issues, by spectators' perception, and other developmental needs of the community that plaguing the project. It's a project that is a flagship project for Nigeria. It is the first time as a government and as a nation we are carrying out remediation by ourselves. And this project is one that has come to redefine the way remediation is done in this world, in this country. We look around and you saw with us as we went to the field, you saw excavation carried out to depth of 12 meters and beyond in some cases. We have never carried out remediation to such depth. We have also not carried out remediation to such dimension. So these are the advantages of the project. HyPrep is carrying out a project that is designed to begin the remediation of the rest of the Niger Delta in Ogoniland. So the cleanup of Ogoniland is the beginning of the cleanup of the Niger Delta in fulfillment of President Buhari's commitment to address the environmental challenges of the region. Like I said to you, 7 lots of the 21 done. That means we have 14 more, right? Out of that, we are looking at in the coming weeks, more will be completed. And before the end of the year, the rest will be done. So let's consider that done. But before then, we would have been commencing the second phase of work. In fact, some contractors on the second batch have already achieved the first milestone and progressing to the second, third, and final milestone. So we are hopeful that in the coming, in the new year, 2021, most of those sites will be complete. The lawmaker observed correctly. HyPrep setup unit came to do an assessment of the environmental degradation that was alleged by the Ogoni people. And so this project primarily is about remediation of impacted land. If you take a look at the unit report, you will see the budget. So the amount that was allocated to this project was not just done arbitrarily. It was done by unit so that 99% of the money in that project is for remediation. So the lawmaker observed correctly. M&E is not something that you could just throw at people. You know, what the person was explaining, the people who were talking about M&E, they said they made their own M&E and gave to us. It's not done. You cannot do your M&E plan and give to a project. We develop ours, and we do have an M&E plan. What the guy was referring to is KPIs, key performance indicators. These are the indicators that shows how well you are complying with the expectation for the deliverables of the project. And that's what he meant. So we do have very strong KPIs developed, for which we are doing. One of the KPIs, like you saw today, is how many sites have you completed in the last 1 year, for example. So if we were to look at the KPI, you will now see what we have now. We'll say 7 for this year. How many community youths have you engaged during this period? So giving you the statistics that this project has generated so many jobs, about 700 in the first phase, about another 800 in the second phase, plus the people in the office, about 2,000 youths. How many people have you given high-level technical capacity training? We trained 23 of Ogoni scientists in Geneva, and they are the people driving this project. You would take that. How many women have you trained in livelihood? We have currently training 400 plus initial 15. Those are the KPIs. That is what he means by M&A. So to tell you that we have it, I can actually reel it out for you what those KPIs are. And we had it from the beginning. What you do is that when you finish a project, there is something what's called internal verification. Internal verification means that you will first of all do an assessment, quality check yourself, and then subject yourself to the regulators. You were in the field, and you saw there was a site far ahead, and those were nursery scientists at that site collecting their own samples to verify what we have done. So we don't score ourselves. We do what we should do, and then we invite the regulators to come and then complete and confirm that what we have done is consistent with what it should be. You see, when people are exercising their constitutional responsibility, our role is to allow them to do the work. But I tell you one thing, this visit gives us the opportunity to even explain more and showcase more of the achievement of the project. So I'm absolutely, and I'm very pleased that they came. Yeah, as you could see in the field, 9 years ago, there was some sort of technology that were available. But the environmental industry, just like the scientific world, is evolving. And there are newer technologies, state-of-the-art technologies that are also being introduced during this period. So, for example, I took you to one site, just as we're living there, that they're using electrolytic methods for remediation work. That technology wasn't available 9 years ago. And we're not going to abandon more effective, more efficient technology that are now in vogue and to use the ones that were recommended 9 years ago. That is one of the flaws. Two, the things that were recommended as emergency 9 years ago and the ones that were classified maybe not as emergency. 9 years thereafter, almost everything right now is emergency. So it calls for the simultaneous implementation and the execution of all of these facets of the project. Certainly, it is provided in the contract. There's something called retention, so that when they go back there, if we are not satisfied with the work done, we call on the contractor, please go back and correct XYZ of your contract. As a matter of fact, even before now, we've already written to all the contractors that please do not demobilize until all verification and certification processes are completed.
The chairman of the Senate Committee on Ecology and Climate Change, Senator Hassan Mohamed Gosso, who spoke on behalf of the Joint Committee, called for patience from people of the affected communities and civil societies in the cleanup process in Ogoni land due to its scientific technicalities. Senator Gosso also commended IPREP for a job well done so far on the cleanup process, but recommended for the contractors to increase this.
At length with the coordinator and the other team and about the project here. The NGOs, the mayor, that it shouldn't be rushed, should allow the technical people to do their job so that we can be proud after the job is complete. Well, so to say, we can say partially it's done well because I'm not a professional, but by mere saying I can understand that they are on course. They are on course. If we can give them time, I'm sure a good thing will be done. But I'm sure with our presence and the way Amona will motivated them, I'm sure they will adjust. So I'm just appealing to them to please let them speed action. Because the money are there lying. What is the need for us to keep money waiting? The money are there for the job. They say they make it a sort of slot by slot. So if it is so, why don't they make it what to be done?
iPrep in action on Today FM.
This program is designed to educate the people and to 5 p.m. to get all the information about the Ogoni cleanup project. iPrep, remediating the environment and restoring livelihoods.
You're listening to iPrep in action on Today FM.
Honey Spat, the Executive Director of Environmental Rights Action, Friends of the Earth Nigeria, Godwin Uyojo, pleaded to the